Hey fellas, welcome back to Three Chord Country. Today I want to do kind of another beginner video on your chords because the only one I did was about 6 months ago and I realized maybe nobody ain't watching it. So while I got a little more reach, I figured I'd try to put this out here for you beginners that want to make chords. Today we're going to look at the C chord, the G chord, the D chord. We're going to look at F, and what? G7. We're going to look at a few chords. Probably all in total 7. A, D, and an E. Okay? Don't let that blow you away because once you get these few little chords down, you'll be well on your way to play most songs you're going to play, a lot of them anyhow. And these are major chords. Okay? So we're going to start with A. And the reason I start with A is because it's a simple chord to make. Now, you don't really have to know the theory behind this to know that a chord is made up of a root note, a third, and a fifth. If you were to write your A, B, C, D, E, F, G down, let's take A for example. A would be the root, C would be the third, D, E would be the fifth. A, C, E, that makes up an A chord if you were making it on the piano or something. Okay? So that just an easy way now to kind of think about it. So let's look at the A. All right, well, we got an A up here already. That string's an A. But if we want to make an A chord, two ways to do it, guys. There's actually more, but these two I recommend. Learn how to plant one finger just flat on the strings right up under this A note all the way down to, and just don't hit the bottom one, okay? Just hit all the that's your A note. Or another way, if you can scrunch your fingers all up in there, would be like this. That is the D string, the G string, and the B string, all in the second fret, like so. That's your A. Now, what's so good about the A is, guys, that you can make another chord if you can make that A. I don't want to get into susses and stuff, but you can add, by pulling your finger off that middle string, you can make an A7. That's an A7. And this is also an A7. So around this shape here, you can develop a couple of chords. And from this shape, the next one we'll look at is an E minor. Now, I said I was going to do the majors, but this one's right here so handy, you might as well go ahead and while you're here. That is nothing more than the A string and the D string on the second fret. And I'll try to bar it like this so you can see the ones I'm barring. If you're able to do what they call a double stop, you can play them both at the same time. That's your E minor. If you can't, however you can get your fingers up there on that E minor, guys. Again, that's second string, second fret, and third string, second fret. Okay? So now we got A, E minor, A7, and two A7s actually. Let's look at another chord. Let's look at a G, okay? Now G is really, that right there is the G, fellas, to be technical, because this note here is a G, and this note up here is a G. You play those two strings, or one of them, it'll give you a G note. Here's the way to make a G chord, and there's a couple different ways to make it. I don't want to confuse you with fingering right now, but so we'll just look at this one. Go to your second fret. Really it's right there next door to your E minor. If you make E minor, guys, and just pick that finger up and put on the third fret E string, and then drop your little pinky right down here. Now that's the G chord. Let me go back and show you that again. Remember we talked about the E minor being two fingers. You take this finger right here, or whichever one you want, and then just shift it over one you know, to the top there, or the third fret. Now that's the G chord. So we got what? A, E minor, and G, and a couple of variations of A. And I think I said I was going to do G7. I'll show you a G7. I don't expect you to get, you know, learn it if it, you know. That's the G7. If you'll look, it looks mighty familiar to the G off our E minor, but now we've taken our pinky finger and we playing it down on the bottom string. So now it's our G7. All right, that's the G7. Now let's look at this pesky chord that's hard to make, the C chord. C, E, G. All right, the first fret, second string right there, that's a C note. And you go up here, and this one's actually an E, and this one's another C. Let's go over this again. First fret, second string B, then on your second fret, your third string, from the top down, it's actually your D string, and then on your third fret, your A string. That's the C chord. Now, if you have difficulty with that, if you can make this much of it, now, it's still got the tone of a C. So that is your basic C chord. If you can't even make all that, look, that note's a C, guys. That's that second string right there, and you can just play that in the bottom till you can get this C shape wrapped around your fingers. So that's C. Now let's look at, let's look at F, because F, C, F, and G, those are chords in one key. F. Now, if you want to make an F, guys, the way I was taught to make an F is like Mel Bay F, meaning that the first two strings there are covered, and you just do a little stair step up. Now, true enough, you can put your finger up here, and now you've got an F something, another derivative of an F. But a basic F would be this, or if you can't do that, do these two fingers right here and do this. Now that's a triad, but it's an F. It's also an F chord. Listen. There's my F chord this way. Now listen to this. Don't worry about barring. That's the bar F right there, which involves using your E shape, which is a whole nother thing, and you know, fretting with these three, or chording with these three fingers. But I'll show you just so you know it. If you want to practice the bar F, you lay your fingers sideways across the strings, and I keep my thumb, you know, right back here where I can get pressure on this to hopefully bar it. Now you use your E shape. That's an F, but that's a hard F for a beginner, guys. It's really your E chord that we haven't learned yet. We probably should do that first. E shape with this bar on the second fret gives you an F, just like this F, just like this F. Okay, so that's a couple of ways to make an F. Now the E. Let's go to the E. You go to your first fret and you count 1, 2, 3 strings down, 4 actually, from this way, going down this way. Or if you're coming up 1, 2, 3, that may be easier. Coming up this way is the third string on the first fret, and that string is your G string. Now on the second fret, you grab the second fret of the A string, and you put that finger right up under it. And that's your A. Now notice something. That's also your shape for your E minor. And so if you make an E minor and put your finger on the third string coming up on the G note, that's an E. And remember, we took that E in E minor, and it's right next door to a G. So guys, those are some very basic chords. Now, the only one I did not look at, and I'm going to, is a D. Now, after we complete this, you will have C, F, G, D, E, A, and only one I didn't do was B, because that's a little difficult. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and do let's call it baby B, all right? I'll show you how to make a baby B if you can't bar it. So we'll look at a B and a D. All right, now the D, you go to your second fret, third string from the bottom coming up this way. Again, that's your G string. Take this finger right here, put right there, both those in that same fret on the second fret. This is the E string, the high E string is what they call it. Then this finger right here, guys, will go right over here in the third fret on the one, which is actually the B. That you did not, okay, look, that you did not, you got it? That's your D. Now, I told you we was going to take a look at the B. It's a complicated chord, guys, and I'll show you a couple ways to make it if you can't bar. The easiest way of all is go to the fourth fret with your A that you learn down here, your A, any A, and play that right there, that A on the fourth fret. That gives you a B sound. If you can, you need to stretch that A and plant this pinky right here on the second fret E string, and your A shape right here where you made it on the fourth fret, same as this, you now slip to the fourth fret. That's one iteration of a B chord. It's a lot easier to make than the bar chord B. And this is how the bar chord B looks, guys. Or if you're actually able to do it with your A shape, that should be. So, work on these chords, guys, and if you have any questions about any chords you'd like to know, as a beginner, I feel like these are probably a lot of chords. I guarantee you, though, if you can wrap these up and learn them, you'll be surprised how many songs you can play. You'll wonder what all this other stuff about music theory is about if you can get these few chords, open chords, wrapped up on your fingers. So, till next time, from down here from 3 Chord Country, peace out, and next time.